good evening or good morning or whatever time zone you're in right now. Welcome to the UFC Fight Island 4 post-fight coverage here on MMAfighting.com. It's a doubleheader as we normally do it. First off, we're going to do the live stream of the press conference. I'm joined by Jose Youngs, who is in Abu Dhabi right now. E. Casey Leiden is joining us as well. And then after, we're going to go live with our post-fight show with a very special guest. Laura Sanko is going to join us, so that should be a lot of fun. So get your questions, your thoughts, everything UFC Fight Island 4 related ready to go. But Jose, how's it going in Abu Dhabi, my man, after another event?
It's 9:30 in the morning. I'm still never going to get used to arriving at the arena at 30 at night and then leaving the arena and the sun is up. So it's like a 30-degree difference. It's pretty unbelievable. I'm never getting used to it.
Casey, what did you think of this main event tonight? I know we're going to talk more in depth about it once the post-fight show begins, but I know you weren't, especially with how this all played out, you weren't necessarily a fan of this booking.
No, I hated this fight being booked. I thought Aldana had already earned her title shot, and unfortunately she's not going to get it now because Aldana kind of crapped the bed tonight. Holm had a great game plan, stuck to it, but Aldana just could not figure out how to cut the cage off, and it was you saw it, 25 minutes of 24 minutes of that, and then some nice little action at the last minute, but I wish we had like a full-on translator, or the UFC would release the corner footage of Aldana's corner, because I just want to know what they were saying to her, because she was not cutting the cage off at any sort of time in the fight properly, and yeah, it was frustrating.
Jose, I thought Holly Holm looked sensational tonight. She looked great, and she was getting better as the fight was going on. Fifth round was arguably her best round overall. She was very close to finishing.
I don't want to take anything away from Holly. She did all that. Aldana was giving her those rounds, but yeah, I was just like, oh my god, yeah.
Sorry. How impressed were you with the Preacher's Daughter tonight, Jose?
Oh, I thought it was one of her best performances to date. Like, dating back to the Ronda fight, it's hard to say. Like, it's hard to think of a more perfect performance. And yeah, she beat Betchko Hea, but this was like a pole-to-pole beatdown. It was not a close fight, like Casey said. And of course, taking nothing away from Holly. She put on the performance that she needed in the main event, especially with that big bantamweight fight happening earlier on the card. So she wanted to keep her name in the mix. Still have to wonder how much Irene Aldana recovered from her bout with COVID. I have no idea if that played any sort of factor. This is just me speculating, but she said it was a tough battle back from that. She came out. She looked kind of flat a lot, and Holly was light on her feet, moving, like Casey said. Aldana just could not figure out how to cut off the cage. She just looked like she was fighting the second best bantamweight in the world, in Holly Holm. And it's unbelievable performance. I don't know if it's enough to get her a title shot, considering all the other fights at bantamweight that are going to happen or will have to happen. But Holly Holm basically just cemented herself as one of the three best female bantamweights in the world.
I mean, besides Mark Goddard getting an absolute aerobic workout,
cardio session. Yeah.
He probably lost like 15 pounds. But I think the matchmaking here is just so simple. I mean, we had two pivotal 135-pound fights. Neither are in the conversation to actually fight for the title right now. Unfortunately, the two that were in the conversation both lost. So now it creates some interesting things. It lets the division play a little bit more while we wait for Amanda Nunes to drop back down. Of course, she's going to fight Megan Anderson at 145. But the fight to make is the rematch between Holly Holm and Jermaine Durand, right? Like, there's no other fight really to make here.
Yeah, I'd say so. That makes sense. They're both on the same time frame. The winners fight and the losers fight. So like Juliana Pena fights Irene Aldana, and Holly Holm fights Jermaine Durand. I'm fine with that. But Ketlin Vieira picked up that big win like a week ago. I know Sarah McMahon's supposed to have a fight, or has had a bunch of fights fall out. Yeah, you're not wrong. It doesn't bother, those matchups don't bother me.
I want to see what it was. I think I have to pull it up, but I think the live betting heading into round, like after the fourth round, heading into the fifth, was like minus 75,000 something for Holly Holm. Like, that is insanity. That is nuts, as these numbers just kept going up. So it was just that dominant of a performance. Jose, you got a little bit of flack from the comments and a little bit on social media for how you presented the co-main event. You were a little bit negative about it. Do you feel vindicated? Do you feel vindicated, or do you think you were wrong?
You got slack for that?
A little bit. Not too much, but
it wasn't nearly as uneventful as I thought it would be, considering like we always see these heavyweight matchups that don't pan out, especially on Fight Island. It was a fun scrap. It wasn't a stoppage. Like, everyone's like, oh, there's no way in the strike inside of the first round. I'm like, that's ridiculous. These are heavyweights in Fight Island. It played this island's curses heavyweights. I mean, we had a main event between who we consider the two greatest heavyweights on planet Earth of all time, and that went 5 rounds. So the fight wasn't nearly as, I don't want to say bad. It wasn't nearly as dull as I expected. It was a fun scrap, a lot of back and forth, but it wasn't the stinker that I thought it would be. But I feel semi-vindicated knowing that I correctly predicted it would go 3 rounds.
There you go. Casey, do you have a prediction on the bonuses before they come out and go live?
Kyler Phillips. He'll get something. Man. Was there a fight of the night?
Jermaine will get one, probably.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough tonight. I don't even know if we're gonna get a fight of the night one.
Luigi Vendrame with that head kick to start the fight.
Is Jermaine still on the no bonus list?
Probably.
So maybe not Jermaine. If Jermaine didn't get one for knocking out Aspen Ladd in 10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a little politics going, but if we're taking out the politics of how they give out the bonuses, Jermaine should definitely get one. Kyler Phillips, I'll give Holly Holm one. I thought that was a
Luigi got a head kick knockout to start the fight. I'd give him one.
Oh, was that today?
Sidorovich is probably in that conversation too.
Yeah, Luigi Vendrame was the first fight of the night. I bet Charles Jourdain Coulibaly was a good scrap. That was a draw. If there's a fight of the night, I'd probably have to pick that.
I would agree, and it's tough because Casey Kenny had such a great performance too, and he's not even in the conversation right now.
Yeah.
He looked outstanding. I mean, that was a beatdown.
Yeah, that was just the definite. That's because his opponent could just take an absurd amount of damage.
You're just smiling the whole time. You're smiling and shaking his head at him. Like, how frustrating must that be to just like unload? And now Casey Kenny, as he told me in our conversation, he wants to stay on Fight Island and fight. Thomas Almeida needs an opponent. So I think you have 2 options here. You can either throw Kyler Phillips in there, or you throw Casey Kenny in there, and problem solved.
And both are teammates. So I wouldn't be surprised if they both stay on Fight Island.
You know what?
Yeah. Go ahead.
If we do give a performance bonus to one of the winners tonight that went to decision, I would actually go with Loma. I thought she looked. Say that. I thought she kind of blew me away tonight. I was not expecting her that dominant.
That's what we all hoped for when we said that she was going to be like one of our under the radar picks or the under the radar fight. And it was a fun one while it lasted. I can't believe the Jourdain Coulibaly fight was a draw. I thought Jourdain clearly won that fight.
Split draw.
A split draw. Very rare. We don't see those every day.
I think someone said that only the 12th or 13th one. It's less than 15 split draws ever in the UFC. So
I think we're going to have a whole slew of performance bonuses tonight. I don't think we're going to get a fight of the night. And if Jermaine Durandamy doesn't get a performance bonus tonight, it's never going to happen. Because who in their right mind would have ever predicted Jermaine Durandamy would win by submission tonight? I think the odds it was like plus 2,300 on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you picked that, you picked it accidentally.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't do it on purpose.
That's almost just like, if you did, but you put like $2 on it. $2 on this. You know,
plus 2,300.
Yeah. And if she did get a submission, I would never thought it would have been a submission like that. And that was a straight submission. Like, a lot of times these strikers get submissions from, they beat the guy up or beat the girl up, and then they kind of, they give their arm up or it's an easy choke, but it comes from a beatdown. This was just a straight submission. Just straight submission. No tenderizing him and everything. So.
Well, for those joining us right now, I am Mike Heck. That is Casey Leiden. Jose Young's our boots in the ground in Abu Dhabi and will be for the next few weeks up until we see Habib Nurmagomedov fight Justin Gaethje, and then he will finally be able to start his trip home. But it's going to be an interesting few weeks for us. It's been an interesting several months for us during this pandemic and all of the stuff going on right now. So yeah. So I know we're going to hear from Holly Holm. Are we going to hear from Dana White, Jose?
I have literally no idea. We were told at the beginning of Fight Island that Dana probably talked to us after every single weigh-in, and he didn't talk at the last weigh-in. So I have literally no. And the only reason he didn't talk at Izzy Costa is because we did the press conference on the beach the day before. So I have absolutely no idea if Dana White's going to speak or not. I haven't even seen him.
Was he cage side?
I don't know. I was backstage the whole fight.
I didn't
see him. I wasn't looking for him. I was doing play-by-play on Twitter, so it's hard to even look for anything outside of the fights. But the night flew by. I don't know how it was for people watching at home, but it flew by for me. But yes, get your thoughts and questions and stuff ready for the post-fight show. Go ahead, sir.
I tell you what, fights do not fly by when they start at 3:30 in the morning. I'm sitting there drinking my coffee, and all of a sudden I'm I've had 3 cups of coffee and it's only 4:45 a.m. Because Casey, I don't know if you've experienced this, but in Abu Dhabi they have this really fancy coffee machine in the meeting room, and it gives you the minimal amount of coffee. So I have to drink 10 to get my normal amount in. It feels like I'm on, and it's obviously Middle Eastern coffee is stronger, so it's I'm just jittery and cold because it's the difference between the meeting room and the outside world is 50 degrees.
Oh, we have some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. The bonuses are out.
What's up, dog?
No fight of the night. Luigi Vendermini gets a bonus. Todorovic gets a bonus. Kyler Phillips gets a bonus. And yes, Jermaine Duranamy gets a bonus. There you go, Casey.
There you go. She's not on the list anymore.
She's off the no-fly zone.
Yep.
Congratulations. So no Holly Holm.
Yeah.
But it's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have finishes like that and a night like that, it is what it is.
No love for it. No love for the fighters that went to decision, even though they dominated. You go to decision no matter what. You do not get a bonus.
Yep. So Luigi Vendermini gets the winner off the bat. Casey Kenny with a dominant unanimous decision over Alatang Haley. Loma Lukbumi with a great performance over Jinyu Fry. Nasruddin Imavov with a great performance against Jordan Williams. That fight was bananas. It was just an all-out slugfest. Of course, the Joshua Kulibau and Charles Jourdain fight went to a split draw. Carlos Condit. Let's talk about Carlos Condit.
Yeah.
Back in the win column. First win since 2015 when he beat Thiago Alves. Gets it done. It was he looked really good tonight. Court McGee is a tough customer, and Condit let him have it. So, Casey, your thoughts on the Natural Born Killer's performance tonight?
It was I don't know. I can't say prime Carlos Condit, but it was vintage Carlos Condit. Just great movement. Kind of those awkward, his whole kind of moving around, and broke Court's nose. And Court is a hard guy to finish, and he took a beating.
I'll tell you what, Court fixed it.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Between rounds, Condit said. Yeah. Condit was Condit by the end of it, he's I forgot, because someone asked, goes, when he broke his nose, did that immediately become a target? He's
oh yeah,
I honestly forgot, because Court McGee fixed it in there, and it just didn't register with him after it happened.
I didn't even think about that, because as the second round began, I looked at his nose and it was crooked, and then a minute later it was not crooked anymore. So we got to look for that video somewhere on social media with him fixing it and doctoring it himself. Other great performance, Dusko Todorovic, great win. Finally gets his Octagon debut after a long layoff and injuries after the Contender Series. And just think, if Dusko Todorovic fought John Phillips on the first trip to Fight Island, we wouldn't be having the Khamzat Chimaev conversation right now, because that's who Chimaev replaced last minute to get that win. Then Kyler Phillips, great performance. Jermaine Duranamy gets a submission win, puts Juliana Pena to sleep. Juliana Pena took to social media and said she's fine, gave props, said she got suspended for 2 weeks, but she wants to get right back in there after that and make up for lost time. Carlos Felipe with the win. Philippe with the win over Jorgen De Castro in the co-main event, and then Holly Holm looked outstanding in her win over Irene Aldana. And that is UFC Fight Island 4 in a nutshell, as we await the arrival of Holly Holm, maybe Dana White. I don't know. I would think if Dana White was coming, he'd probably be here by now. So maybe he will not be here tonight. Who knows? Yeah, I don't even know what else to talk about right now without letting go of all the post-fight show fun.
Yeah, don't give all the goodies away yet.
Yeah, I mean that's probably gonna be like all fan questions at this point.
Yeah.
Depending on how long we have to wait for Holly to show up.
You know what though, with the Carlos Condit win, it is fun to matchmake him now.
It is.
Yeah, it's like everyone's like, woo.
It seems like Matt Brown and Nick Diaz are the top 2 choices, according to social media.
The one I saw, yeah, Matt, I would agree. Obviously for Carlos, if Nick Diaz, he'll probably want to jump up and pay because that would definitely be at minimum a co-main event on a pay-per-view.
I would agree with that.
Matt Brown, it's different. You know, Matt Brown is coming off a pretty bad loss too, so the fight doesn't have quite as much intrigue, although other than just 2 violent dudes punching each other, but
there, and it's fallen out twice.
Yeah. I saw you see Matt Brown's tweet,
both on Fox cards.
You see Matt Brown's tweet, yeah. When Carlos was like, well, if he doesn't hurt, what did Carlos say? Kind of.
He said, I asked him, would you want to be booked against Matt Brown again during the first 2 fights fell out? He goes, yeah, I don't care as long as you bubble wrap him before the fight.
And Matt Brown's reply was, fair enough.
What seemed to have been another fun one to matchmake on via social media was Kyler Phillips. Because 135 is just so loaded and there's so many fun matchups in store for him. I think him and like Montel Jackson would be a blast. Him and Randy Costa would be a lot of fun. There's just a lot of fun options for a guy like Kyler Phillips. I mean, he certainly is the Matrix, and he's now 2-0 in the UFC. So, I mean, the card delivered. The prospects had an opportunity to step up and make some noise, and they did just that. Some of the guys that we had our eye on, like the Casey Kennys, like the Dusko Todoroviches, the Kyler Phillips, they all delivered in big ways tonight. So hats off to all of them, and congrats to all the bonus winners as we still await the arrival of the Preacher's daughter, the former UFC Women's Bantamweight champion, Holly Holm, after her unanimous decision victory over Irene Aldana tonight in Abu Dhabi. Maybe we'll see Dana. I have a feeling we're not going to see Dana at this point.
I will try to find out right now, actually.
Okay.
I'll be right back, everyone.
All right. Later, Jose.
I have to say, we're supposed to be joined by Laura Sanko for the post-fight show, and as the minutes tick down, she's losing interest because she's fallen asleep. Oh, here we go.
Not looking likely.
Not looking likely for Dana. All right. So hopefully Holly Holm is approaching quickly. Then we can get right into the post-fight show.
I actually, someone suggested I would like to, for the UFC, if I read somewhere that Almeida he's already not fighting next is it next week? Ricardo Almeida? No, yeah. He was
Thomas
Almeida. Yeah, Ricardo Almeida. Thomas Almeida. So he had an opponent. The opponent's injured or out for COVID reasons. It's like,
I think it was just I don't even know why.
Well, he lost his opponent, so yeah. Well, I guess there's no one to ask. No one's there.
There were a lot of bantamweight, like both Kyler Phillips and Casey Kennedy wanted to stick around. Kyler Phillips specifically doesn't want to leave Fight Island.
Dude, just book Casey Kennedy and Kyler Phillips. Just book him right now and have him fight next week.
They're teammates.
Oh, they're teammates?
They're teammates.
Oh, those jerks.
Yeah, that's why they both had John Crouch in their corner.
Oh, you're right. They're no
thwarted.
No, I was like, oh, that'd be cool. Just that'd be kind of a cool little storyline.
Yeah, well, because even if the Casey Kennedy post-fight press conference, he goes, So Kyler Phillips is on this card, this and that. And he's like, yeah, he's my teammate. He's great, this and that. So it's like they're not even like teammates that don't train together. Like Casey Kenny was hyping up Kyler Phillips in his own press conference.
They're like went to Vegas together. They drove over there together and they flew together. So yeah, those two aren't fighting each other unless it's for a title.
Yeah.
That'd be fun though.
I'm just all out of ideas.
Isn't Umar? Is Umar fighting? Is that his name? Umar Nurmagomedov
fighting?
He's on the last pay-per-view, right? He's bantamweight, right? Maybe one of them. If he wins,
possibly, yeah. That's not a bad idea.
Like the winner of that fight.
Yeah.
Maybe Brian Kelleher wants to drop back to bantamweight.
Possible. Umar's fighting Sergey Morozov at UFC 254. So that'll be
exactly what I thought.
Octagon debut. Yep, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of fun matchups. There's Hunter Azure. You can have the MMA Lab versus Fight Ready. Ooh. Nathaniel Woods out there somewhere. He could be a fun matchup for both of those guys. I think,
actually, now that you say it, Nathaniel Wood and Brian Kelleher were trying to matchmake against each other on Twitter not too long ago. They said featherweight or bantamweight. So I think those two. I think that would be a fun scrap right there.
Yeah, I think Kelleher wants the Simone fight.
I
agree.
What
he's angling for because he doesn't want to go to Fight Island right now. He'd rather stay in Vegas and fight Simone. So 35 is just so fun. There's just so many good options. And how about being an up and coming 35er and trading at the MMA Lab with Casey Kenny, Kyler Phillips, and Sean O'Malley? I mean, that's just a murderer's row of 35ers.
I don't know how much Sean O'Malley's at the Lab these days.
Yeah, I mean, he's still like close to those guys and gets work with them. I don't know if he's like a full-time labber, but I know he does get work with those guys. So yeah, that's where we're at. Holly Holm, still not arriving.
Yeah. Last I heard, you were still doing ESPN.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I've been complaining all week about Jermaine and Julia Pena being the third fight from the top and not the co-main event. And man, I think tonight proved. I just don't understand why the UFC put that as the.
I think they just didn't want a main. I just think they just didn't want two female fights on the top of the card. As ridiculous as that is. I mean,
that's a reason, but that's not a good reason for them to do that. I would hate to think that would be the reason. It's like, too many ladies fighting. Ugh.
Yeah, and technically today was the first time ever females even headlined a card in Abu Dhabi, in any MMA promotion.
That is actually something that wasn't really talked about. That's pretty.
Yes, it was.
Not tonight. I didn't hear. Was it on the broadcast? Was it on the broadcast?
I don't know if it was on the broadcast, but we talked about it at Media Day, and they were like, Holly and Irene were like, "Yeah, it's a big deal."
No, for them. I mean, what are they gonna say? Nah, it's not a big deal. Like, but the UFC wasn't like pushing it. That's what I mean. The UFC. I thought that would be like a good storyline.
Angela Hill plugged it at the analyst Media Day. Even we asked Juliana Pena. I was like, "Are you surprised?" Like you weren't matched up against Irene, because that might make a lot more sense considering the winner of that. Because like if you look at this, it's like worst case scenario. Like the two people that were contenders lost to two people who have already lost to the champ. And Juliana Pena and Irene, they were like fresh faces and they both lost. They had fought each other. The winner could have moved on to a title shot. And I asked Juliana Pena that. She's like, I don't care. I just want as many women on the card as possible. Because I think it was a big deal for all of them. But I'm like, then why not just do Holly Holm Jermaine as like the main event, and then you could have Irene and Juliana Pena as the co-main event. But it is what it is.
That's why I've been taking my hat off and throwing it in the ground all week, saying the same thing.
Right.
So they're like, well, we're showcasing 125ers at UFC 255. Could we do that? Could we have the women main and co-main one card, and then do flyweights taking over the 255 card? I mean, you should have easily slotted that other fight in the co-main event. And how about all the movement at 25 over the last 48 hours? Cody Garbrandt injured. He is out of the title fight with Deiveson Figueiredo. He's now going to fight Alex Perez. Brandon Moreno, who's supposed to fight Alex Perez, is now going to fight Brandon Royval. Ooh. That's a crazy fight.
I like that fight.
So Brandon on Brandon. A.K. Lee is a very happy camper because he gets to yell Brandon on Brandon. And then at the end of the day, you get two other flyweights that everyone wants to see and that aren't matched up between Manel Cape and Askarov, that's got to be the fight.
I want an entire 125 main card, men and women's. The men's title can be in the main event. The women's title can be the co-main event. Toss Manel Cape on that card. Toss Brandon versus Brandon, and then another female flyweight in between them. So it's like men's fight, women's fight, men's fight, women's fight, men's fight, all at 125. Just make it a flyweight extravaganza.
I love it.
That's
exactly what they should do.
Was the last time the UFC did, for lack of a better word, a gimmick, kind of a gimmick fight,
146.
The all heavyweights.
146.
Which one?
Yeah, and even 146, I believe.
That was just the main card.
Mir. Yeah, and it wasn't even like originally like that original. Parents was like so much. I think that was the card. Like Overeem was supposed to fight JDS. The original when JDS was the champ before Overeem got pulled. Kane was supposed to fight Frank Mir, and they ended up fighting Bigfoot. I think Gabriel Gonzaga was originally supposed to fight Bigfoot, and someone else fought Roy Nelson instead. It was that fight card was really fun. The original lineup was just a lot better. Was
that the night that Stipe knocked out the late Shane Del Rosario? Was he on that card too?
I believe so.
Yeah, because I remember that was my big takeaway, because I was very high on Shane at the time, and I was like, who's this Stipe guy? And then like I was like, okay, I guess this Stipe guy might be. The lineup
was JDS Mir, Kane Bigfoot, Roy Nelson, Dave Herman, Stipe, Shane Del Rosario, Stephen Struve, LeVar Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
4 knockouts, 1 submission.
I remember that card very well. It was the night before my wedding.
Also on that card was the 3-minute
Congratulations. Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations on being married. Jamie Varner, Edson Barbosa was on that card.
That's right.
That fight ruled. And CB Dollaway sent Jason Miller into retirement.
Oh, that was the same card, huh?
Yeah.
What a memorable
Dan Hardy pieced up Dwayne Ludwig. Man,
yeah,
that was a good fight card.
That one.
A young up and coming Glover Teixeira tapped out Kyle Kingsbury on the Facebook prelims.
Was Dave Herman, was that when he was super hairy, or was he shaved at that time? I think he was.
I don't know. It's all a blur to me.
All right. You remember all the numbers and every single name, but you don't remember how much body hair was on Dave Herman? Come on, man.
Can't say. That was also Mike Brown's last ever win. He beat Daniel Pineda on the curtain jerker.
Damn! Wow. Man, that was a crazy card. I remember that card very well because I had like a lot of the guys in the wedding party over to my apartment at the time. We played poker, and a few of us were UFC fans. Others had never watched it before, and they watched Cain Velasquez destroy Bigfoot Silva, and he like
one of the bloodiest fights ever.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh my god, I can't watch this." They were no longer fans after that fight.
Whoa,
it was crazy.
Are you still friends with them?
You get me?
Yeah. After that night, you're like, I don't know, guys. Like,
they're just like, whoa, this is not what I expected. Why won't the referee end this thing?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, but look at it. We what I'm saying is the UFC needs to have more gimmick matchmaking. Just a whole card of all Brandons or something. I don't know. No, just
bring back Shaw, bring back Thatch.
Thatch, yeah.
Brandon Vera. No Brandons. Just no. All Brandons versus Brandons.
Ooh.
No, they fight each other.
They are very particular on that.
There you go. I mean, they used to have like nicknames for all these cards. So there you go. UFC 256, Brandon versus Brendan, all the way up and down the card. You can tell we have like nothing.
Whoever has the most wins has to leak. Whoever has the most wins at the end. No, the losers have to legally change their name to the other.
Yes.
So when Brandon Schaub lives, he's officially Brandon Schaub.
So when Brendan Schaub competed in Metamoris, is that what it's called? Metamorph?
Yeah.
Metamorphosis. Metamoris. And you remember he had that horrible match? Yeah, I don't know if you remember. I don't
even consider it a match. Well, it was him pushing the whole time.
Yeah.
He stood up the whole time, yeah.
So
then he threw elbows into the camera and everybody booed him.
I interviewed him backstage, and I was like, oh my god, I guess I have to interview him. And the first thing I said, so Brandon, what do you think of your performance? And he goes like, it's Brendan. I was like, we're off to a great start. I've never seen someone so mad at saying their name wrong.
No, Holly's here.
Oh, here comes the main event winner, Holly Holm, right now.
Holly, congratulations on a very, very impressive victory. I mean, I'm sure you'll want to go back and watch it, and I know you're always critical of yourself, but from our point of view, it seemed like maybe one of your best performances ever. Did it feel that way to you?
You know, it felt good to just go in there and have a dominating performance, not something that's, you know, too close or there's fights that I've had that have been like, you know, brawls, and then there's some that have been like in the clinch, and I'm trying to like put it all together and be a full, well-rounded fighter, and I felt like I was able to do a lot of that tonight. But yes, I always want to do more.
You know, your athleticism, your technique, it's always been there. But the thing that was there tonight that I think impressed was aggression. It just seemed like it was really there. Did you come in here with like a chip on your shoulder or something to prove, or is that just something you're trying to add to your game?
You know, I don't know. I think just coming over here, gosh, it's just a lot of sacrifice from my team. And I just wanted to get in there, and I didn't want to let the time pass me by without making the most of it. Get out there and get it done. We came this far for 25 minutes, so I better at least do something for 25 minutes.
Yeah. So we're in an interesting spot, right? Because we know Amanda's going to fight 145 next, and we know you're gunning for that gold. I mean, do you feel like a statement like this is enough that you should be her next 135 shot?
You know, I'm going to keep working hard. That's all I'm going to do. I know she's got a lot going on right now. Another fight already scheduled, and there's still some other tough girls in our. I mean, I feel like the 135-pound division is always pretty stacked. So I don't ever get my sights set on something too hard. I just wait until the opportunity comes. The next fight is the next fight, and whatever that will be, I'm going to put my heart and soul into it and do it again.
Last thing for me, I mean, it might be a similar answer, but I'm just curious if you saw Jermaine's performance tonight, and if that, you know, if it turns out that a title shot can't be next. Is that a fight that interests you?
That's definitely an option. I feel like that's something that I think everybody probably felt her and I might meet up again in there. So, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see where it goes from here.
Hi, Holly. I was just wondering, at the very end of the fight, you really piled on the aggression and went forward. And I was wondering if, was that you wanted to show you were looking for the finish, or did you think the finish was actually there to be had?
I knew she was rocked, and I wish I would have maybe capitalized on that right away, but also didn't want to run into anything stupid. And when I knew it was getting close to the end of the round, I thought, well, let's just let it go for a little bit.
Again, John mentioned something about aggression and how you look to be moving forward a bit more in this fight. Is that something you've been working on specifically, or is that just when you got out there, you found yourself landing the lead hand and it came to you?
Well, I definitely want to believe in my skill. I work so hard, and so just go forward and let it go a little bit more. But it also was just a feel for tonight. Each fight is different, and I hope that I take the good things from this fight and keep those with me, and the things that I still need to improve on and fix those. I want to learn from every fight, and I prefer to win and learn from a win.
And last thing for me, do you have any idea how much distance you cover in the octagon?
Oh, I have no idea. That would be I knew I was with a mover, and I didn't want to be the one standing in quicksand, you know. So it's just one of those things, just keep moving. If I can train 4 hours a day at home, I can move for 25 minutes.
Oh, congrats.
Holly, right here. You found a ton of success with that, like straight left, like square on the nose throughout the whole fight. Is that something you knew you could take advantage of, or was just the opening there over and over and over?
You know, I guess I wasn't planning on it a whole lot, but, you know, she throws a lot of straight punches, and I just didn't want to be at the end of her range. If I was going to be there, I was going to be the one throwing.
Have you ever punched someone that much and have them not succumb to the damage?
Well, we almost got her. She was close. She was close.
Hi, right here. So during media day, you spoke about your dad, and it seems like you guys are very close. Did you talk to him after the win?
I haven't talked to anybody yet. I haven't even been to my phone yet, but I did talk to him this morning before. Actually, nope, it was yesterday. I was eating, and he texted me and just said, "You're going to do beautiful, baby. I know it." And he said, "I've always believed in you."
And what do you think he's going to say when you call him?
That he knew it.
Thank you.
Actually, Holly, one more. Are you surprised you didn't get a performance of the night bonus?
You know, I'll keep working for it. You know, I'll just keep working. All I can do is go out there and do that, and then at the end of the night, they'll make that decision. You know, I'm up against a lot of other great fighters on the card, so what can you do? Just keep working.
One final one. Now that it's over, can you reflect on being the first part of the first female main event in Abu Dhabi?
You know, I'm just blessed that there was, you know, belief that we can come out and do a show. So it's really just an honor, and that's just something we can add on to a little piece of history. You know, I always like to do something that hasn't been done before, and to be the first female fight to headline out here it's great, and even better that it's with a victory. So we'll go home with happy hearts.
Anything else?
At this point of your career, where do you find motivation for your fights and becoming better?
Well, I think at this point, when I first came to MMA, a lot of people didn't really know what to expect, and then they all knew who I was, but then there's this whole new kind of excitement coming through, a lot of young talent, and they're trying to come in and they think that this is their stepping stone, and I'm not going to be that.
Holly, one more for me. I saw that you're trying to submission the Kimura. How close are you to get that?
It's one of those things. We'll go for it. If it's not there, we'll just progress and keep moving. Just feel the fight as it goes. There's definitely things I wish I would have done on the ground a little bit, but each fight is learning experience, and I can take what I've learned and put that into the next fight. Thank you.
There she is, the big winner, Holly Holm, getting it done. Big win over Irene Aldana. As we're about to put a bow on the first half of our doubleheader post-fight coverage for UFC Fight Island 4. As Jose is about to get some sleep in a little while. It is the morning time in Abu Dhabi. Any final thoughts on tonight's card?
I'll sleep when I'm dead. It wasn't the worst card. The pacing was a little off. I found there was a lot of downtime between fights, and it is what it is. I think a lot of people said this was not the strongest lineup of the 5 cards. Some people even say it was the weakest, but wasn't the most boring by the end of it by any means. I will never get used to watching fights at 2:30 in the morning in the middle of the desert. So hopefully I can at least acclimatize slightly before the Zombie Ortega fight, which will never happen.
Oh, how dare you. And with that, we will leave your negativity right there in Abu Dhabi. Jose, thank you for your coverage as always, sir. Thank you very much. Casey Leiden, we'll see you on the other side. Laura Sanko is going to be joining me on the other side as well on the post-fight show, so don't go anywhere. New link coming. We'll see you on the post-fight show in just a little bit.